Diane Lane has never been one for shock value or cheap confession, so when she finally opened up about 7 actors who left a lasting impression on her, it wasn't loud or scandalous. It was quiet, thoughtful, and far more revealing because of that restraint. She made it clear from the beginning that she was never interested in playing into jokes or risky headlines, and that what she shared wasn't about drama, but about moments of connection that lingered long after the cameras stopped rolling. When she speaks about Richard Gere, her tone shifts almost immediately, slowing as she describes a kind of presence that doesn't demand attention but quietly commands it, a stillness in his eyes that changes the atmosphere of a room without a word being spoken. Their work on Unfaithful marked a turning point for her, beginning with a simple table read where a single look from him caused her to lose her place on the page, a rare moment that told her this story would ask more of her than she expected. On set, the emotional weight of guilt, desire, and restraint blurred the lines between performance and feeling, and even between takes, the air between them stayed charged, filled with held glances and unspoken understanding that never crossed a line but came close enough to feel dangerous. Years later, reuniting felt effortless, like standing beside a warm fire that gently pulls you in without intention, a metaphor she uses to describe how natural and earned their chemistry always felt. When she turns to Kevin Costner, the attraction shifts into something quieter and deeper, rooted in his stillness, patience, and emotional restraint, a man who can dominate a scene by doing almost nothing at all. Working together on Let Him Go, Diane found comfort in his calm, describing him as grounded and meditative, someone who creates space rather than fills it, whose silences carry as much weight as dialogue, making every moment feel lived in and real. With Kevin, she felt a mature chemistry built on trust and respect, the kind that leaves room for wondering without regret, a quiet acknowledgement of what might have been in another life. That sense of control dissolves when she talks about Josh Brolin, whose presence she describes as pure, instinctive energy, a force that thrives in chaos rather than fighting it. On the rugged, explosive set of Jonah Hex, Josh's unpredictability demanded constant attention, forcing her to stay present and responsive as he shifted tone, rhythm, and intensity with every take, creating a creative tension that felt thrilling rather than reckless. Beneath his rough exterior, she noticed a kindness that surfaced between takes, a concern for the crew and the people around him that added depth to the danger he carried on screen, making the connection feel both exciting and emotionally safe. When Diane reflects on Matt Dillon, her voice softens, carried back to the early days of Hollywood when everything felt new, uncertain, and charged with possibility. She remembers the half-smiles, the quiet confidence, and the way his stillness pulled focus without effort, a subtle magnetism that made her stumble over lines and feel the rush of a first crush at a time when both of them were pretending to be more confident than they truly were. As the years passed, that youthful spark matured into something steadier, losing none of its pull. With Tom Cruise, the energy shifts again, becoming fast, intense, and relentlessly forward-moving, even before his superstardom fully arrived. Diane recalls his sharp focus, restless ambition, and the way he made everything around him feel urgent and alive, balanced by a sincerity that surprised her, a rare ability to lock in completely, listen deeply, and make the world feel quiet when his attention landed on you. Their chemistry carried the electricity of youth, hunger, and motion, forcing her to stay sharp and responsive in scenes that never stood still. Finally, when she speaks of Christopher Lambert, her words slow into something more mysterious, describing a connection built on silence, strategy, and unspoken understanding. Acting with him felt like a game of chess, every move deliberate, every pause meaningful, his calm exterior hiding an undercurrent of tension that made their shared stillness feel charged rather than empty. Together, they leaned into quiet moments, letting space and restraint do the work words couldn't, creating a bond defined by precision, gentleness, and hidden fire. Taken together, Diane Lane's reflections aren't about scandal or confession, but about the rare moments when chemistry, respect, and timing align, leaving impressions that don't fade with time, and reminding us that sometimes the most powerful connections are the ones that are never fully spoken aloud.